So I'm Chris Traina. I'm the office chief for the Office of Earthquake Engineering Analysis and Research at Caltrans. And we're really, really happy to be here, get the collaboration, get the opportunity to present on what we're doing with the Pier Bridge program here, which is a really important component of delivering our seismic and structural research at Caltrans. So we're looking forward to that continued collaboration here with the new contract. And also, Caltrans overall just completed a new strategic planning effort, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how that ties into what we're doing with research here in my presentation. But we added a new, we always do safety, quality, all those things, but this strategic plan, we added what I think is, you can't get anything done without what? People. All of us. So our new, the new facet that we added to our strategic plan is employee excellence. So on that note, we brought about 10 engineers from Caltrans here, and this is how we get excellent, collaborating with you, sharing our knowledge, learning from you, talking to the people who are working on our research, trading ideas. So during the next 2 days, if you see somebody with a Caltrans badge on, reach out to them, talk to them. They're all around, and that's how we'll all get better, and it helps us get better. So we got to create the next generation of engineers that are going to solve all the problems we have to make the highway system resilient. So, Dr. Masalam, thank you so much for the opportunity to moderate this session and be here. And with that, I'm going to get into an overview of the Pier Bridge program. I want to recognize my colleague Singhan Kim, who runs our Geotechnical Structures Research Program. He helped put this together with us, along with Sharon's name's not on here, but she's the actual person in Division of Research Innovation and Systems Information at Caltrans that is responsible for managing the Pier Bridge program. She's done a fantastic job the last 5 years, and I know she's going to do a great job in the next 5. So, oops, with that, let's see, wrong way. Here we go. All right, so Pier Bridge program affiliates, this is really important to us because it gives us folks here on the western side of the United States who understand our seismic problems. It gives us a group of universities where many of our folks who are working at Caltrans have graduated from. So they have connections to these universities. We have a lot of great professors, and it makes it really nice for us. We're going to go through some of the benefits of this, but having all these West Coast folks that we can talk to, collaborate with. And I'll add, we have a rich history over the last, I had to check myself on this. We're into the 4th decade now since Loma Prieta of delivering research and doing all of that. And all of these institutions have played a big part in that. We've had successful projects with them, so that's really important. Kelly, I keep going the wrong way. No, there we go. All right, so first, Pier Bridge program overview. We had a $4.5 million contract for the last 5 years that was awarded in March in 2025. We all saw the program announcement. We've got a new $5.075 exactly, let's just say $5.1 million 5-year agreement that was executed yesterday, and Sharon will be managing that. And that's really nice to have 5 more years and the money to be able to do the research that we need to get done. The projects are executed as task under a master agreement that we have. So we have one contract, and then we can just, like similar to that we do with our other contracts, just add another task order to it, and it makes it so much easier than starting up a whole new contract and getting the whole framework for it. So we manage the project, and we established the technical advisory panel for the projects. Pier provides technical and administrative support for us. So like things like going out and soliciting proposals to all the peer-affiliated universities. And then the principal investigator produces a research report that's vetted by Pier. So it goes through everybody there to, a little quality assurance on the final product. And then they make all that data available to the community in an open source format. So that means we can all share it and learn from it. And so it's just a really good collaborative effort so that we can all work together to improve seismic safety in California and across the nation as well. All right, let's see. All right, so different research topic. I'm not going to spend too much time here. We pointed these out earlier, these 7 key fundamentals, and it's kind of amazing because these tie really closely into our structure's policy board focus areas, which helps us guide the selection of our research, what's important to us. We line up with this very closely, and that's no mistake, right? We've had this collaborative effort. You guys know what we need, and you're helping us, research all these different areas so we can advance the state of the art in earthquake engineering. So the benefits for this, we can leverage the peer center expertise and long record of accomplishment and research infrastructure, and you just got a pool of world-renowned researchers. So we've got lots of smart people, all the smart people in the room that can help us. It helps us to reduce our administrative burden. We're all trying to get project delivery done as well as that, and then most of the folks in here, as well as being contract managers, that's why they're here on research contracts, they're doing analysis and design and helping move forward projects, developing guidance, things like that. So this helps take some of that burden off, so that they help us administer the projects. It promotes collaboration, and you have so many good business and industry partnerships that we can connect to through you. That's really important. And then, our sponsorship supports the research community, and it's improved technology and innovation, which is going to ultimately benefit everybody in California. So here's research projects we have in the past. I'm not going to read through these, but this is just a list that kind of shows you the different folks we have, and these presentations will be available. It kind of shows you the research that we got done under the 2020 master agreement. It's really impressive. A total of almost 17 projects here, up to our $4 million budget there. And Sharon did a really great job of managing this and getting everything in here, along with all our contract managers that helped out on that. So Caltrans research overall, this is kind of the different, you can see here, these are the different PSCs, were geotechnical structures. Oops, let me get back there. I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Problem using the pointer. All right. So here's all the different program steering committees that compete for research annually. And as you can see, we get a really good share. We've done really well. And I think that's because we put together really good problem statements. We work together. And so when they go up to get vetted at the higher levels, they're very competitive against all the other problem statements in Caltrans that get put together. So, the good news is there's still lots of research dollars coming in at Caltrans. And as you can see, last year we approved 47 research projects, almost a $20 million total. Wait. Let's see, did I get the right one? Okay. So here's our approved slate of research that we approved last year. It was, we had a total of 9 projects we submitted of $5 million. Some really important ones are Generation 2 fragility models for our shake cast system. Here's our Pier Bridge one, which is our risk-based seismic design one that Dr. Zarayan's working on. You'll hear a presentation later from him. But you can see all of these fit into those categories. Again, one thing that I want to point out, we used to get unlimited proposals or problem statements we could submit forward. And, the money, you can see all the different program steering committees we have that we have to share now. So one of the things that we've done is limited the amount of problem statements we can submit. So we can submit 10 every year, dollar value of no more than $5 million on all 10. And we've been meeting the mark on that pretty much. All right, so you can see here, Pier Bridge projects that we've had. This is our research projects over the year, and the intent of this slide is just to show you, we're still managing 30, 31, 32 projects here. These we'll get more projects in. Sorry, you guys. I'm going the wrong way. We will get more projects in this year. We've got 9 projects that are currently being looked at by our Division of Research and our Research Deployment and Advisory Committee. They should make a vote on that here in the next month, and we'll fill the gaps here towards the end and add some more. We have a really, sorry you guys, this can jump. So one of the really important things that I've tried to do over the last 5 years is develop a contract management team so that we're all working with each other. We all kind of worked independently. Sharon and folks would do things over in Dry SI. We had our things going on. We're starting to have, meet every 6 months, talk about the different projects we have. You can see you guys work with probably many of these folks here. And what's amazing here is we are, we kind of fall under Division of Research. They have a liaison, Andon Lee, who guides me. I kind of report to him, but we manage our own projects on this side, and these are mostly the seismic and the ones that fall outside of the Pier Bridge program. And then Sharon takes care of all the other ones for us. So all the ones that are formally Pier Bridge program projects, because there's two different pools of money we get. So you can see here over the last, this data comes, we collected this data in July of 2024, but this is since fiscal year 2010 to 2011. All the different projects, we've had 76 total projects, $32.6 million worth of research, and it's all been split up into these different functional areas. And we kind of tried to do this to kind of align, look a little bit familiar with the Pier Bridge topics you saw on the other slide. So let's talk real quick about the Caltrans research process and how we do that. And this is important because one thing we're trying to do is not just have the problem statements come from within Caltrans. We're trying to get out in the world, both, especially within California and especially within Pier Bridge program, and have some of you work with us. If there's ideas you're working on and things we need to get done, maybe we can talk together. A good example of that was I just met Dr. Palermo in Ottawa in August. We talked about some ideas he had. I said, hey, we'll talk to a few of my engineers. He got in the room with a few of them, and they produced a very competitive problem statement that's probably going to get funded this year. So we can do that with any of you. You need to, reach out to us, talk to the folks that you see on that list before, and just stay in touch with us. So just going real quick over the process. So we have a research selection. This is kind of how, boy, it's really touchy there. So, sorry, you guys. I need to use my pinky or something. I guess my thumb's too big. So anyway, so research selection, contract execution, research execution. So this is kind of the stages. And this is about how much time it takes us for all of these. We go through, we collect research ideas here in July and August. It takes us a couple of months to get them to our technical steering committee. Then they go to the program steering committee review over at Dry SI that I'm a part of. And then it goes through the research deployment and advisory committee review and approval. That's the approving committee at Caltrans. Once projects are approved, then we get into the contract execution phase. We find the PI or the researcher. We put together the technical proposal and the contract preparation. And then we get into research execution, which is the PI conducts the research. And hopefully we get out here, we have research outcome and the implementation, which is, of course, is the most important part. So it used to take us about 3 months to get into contract execution, which is why you see that there. And sometimes we can still do that, but it's taken us a lot longer now, which is why we've pushed back the collection of problem statements here until July. Okay. And so, I think the overall thing to get from this is our research gets vetted by a lot of folks in our organization. It goes through our technical steering committee, which is made up of office chiefs at my level from different subdivisions within engineering services. So we get a broad perspective on, is this good research? We have our program steering committee go through, which is even higher level. And then we have our deputy directors, our division chiefs. And then, of course, on top of all of this, it's guided by our Caltrans Seismic Advisory Board. We have our chair, Dr. Ian Buckle here, and they help steer us in the right direction here. So here's kind of what our proposal timeline looks like. As I said, we start in July. Takes us a couple of months to get everything forward. By November, we have everything submitted to Dry SI. Then we go through after Christmas and do all of our scoring and ranking. The prioritized list, we got to them earlier in March, and they had their meeting. I don't know what the results are yet. Maybe Sharon can share some stuff with us. I don't know. But anyways, We only have a few months after that to get our approved contract packages to over so we can start moving forward getting contracts approved. So I want to talk about something real quick that we're working on. It's a new initiative. I told you we have a new strategic plan. We have simultaneously over the past 3 years been working with the Seismic Advisory Board and others to come up with a seismic strategic plan. Well, over the years, that's evolved into what we felt. We didn't want to just regurgitate a bunch of words in a strategic plan. We wanted to have an implementation plan. You know, what research do we need? You know, what training do we need? What guidance are we going to put out? What are we going to implement out of the research? So the purpose of this is develop a roadmap of the future earthquake engineering efforts at Division of Engineering Services and Caltrans. It'll incorporate key focus areas that help us to reduce seismic vulnerabilities on the California transportation system. And then each focus area is going to identify research needed to fill gaps in knowledge so we can incorporate that into our strategic research plan and our geotechnical research program, the projects that we want to put forward every year. So it supports our strategic plan, and it supports our structures policy focus board areas, which I told you are very closely aligned to what we have going on in Pier Bridge. It's going to provide a connection between our corporate products, like our guidance that we put out, our seismic design criteria, bridge design memorandums, all of those, and it's going to guide the prioritization of our research needs. Again, it has input and guidance from our Caltrans Seismic Advisory Board, and that's one of their key roles. Here's the focus areas. These should all make sense to us: post-earthquake investigations, emergency response, seismic response modification devices, seismic resilience of existing bridges, seismic hazards, seismic design policy and guidance, seismic design of earth retaining systems, seismic design of tunnels and buried structures, and seismic design practices and earthquake engineering training, which came about because we do want to meet that employee excellence goal, and training and practicing is really important. Oops. All right, so, okay. Part of this is we've kind of recognized that there's been this cycle, kind of like plan, do, check, act in quality management, where we have post-earthquake investigations. After an earthquake, we go and we research, we figure out what our needs are, we do innovation, we develop policy and guidance from all of that, and then that gets implemented by our designers. So what we want to do, we've been doing all this, what we want to do is formally tie this into a process. We need input from internal stakeholders as well as ourselves, and we want to have an annual meeting every year where we figure out, are we on track? Are we getting the right research? Did we execute what we said we were going to do last year? And are we on track to move forward? Next steps are, we're in the final review by our technical organization. We've gone through those other ones, and we're hoping to publish this by April 30th. We're going to have a workshop, and we hope to do that. Now, real quick, one more thing. You guys have probably all heard this, anybody. So we had a really important thing last year. We finally published our Seismic Safety of California Bridges, which is like a document that talks about what we've done over the past 3 and 4 decades, like I talked about. Talks about, what it kind of paints a realistic picture of what Californians can expect in terms of seismic performance for all the money they've spent on the research over the years. And it talks about what we're planning to do in the future, and it documents all the improvements we've made in seismic safety. I'm really excited. We're going to actually get a chance. We hope to publish this earlier. I've been working with our public affairs group right now. April is Earthquake Preparedness Month, and April 2nd, we should have this published on our Caltrans website and on our engineering services page. So we're really happy about this. It's going to answer these 3 questions posed by the Seismic Advisory Board that are really important questions for taxpayers, our people all the folks in government, right? People funding all these projects, they need to know what we've done with the money, the traveling public too, and then also people in the technical and academic community, folks like today. So, all right, no questions. We'll move on to the next session.